it is no longer an interiors game in the short-term rental industry. Would you agree with that, Blue?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, why is that? What's the big change that we're seeing? I know that you're a little bit more under the hood on the short-term rental industry as far as where people are spending their dollars.
For sure. Well, yeah, great to be back. Super stoked to be talking about the topic. And yeah, I think Funkit has evolved. It's really driving into a experience economy. And that experience economy, what does that mean? It is a story-worthy design or property, whatever you like to call it. And people want that. People want the experience. People want the branding. They want, Marriott and Hilton have done a great job at this. They've sold the vision to us. And I think we as short-term rental investors, hosts, we need to sell the same vision. We have to brand our properties. We have to make sure the themes are the same, but also we have to create a resort style backyard that is going to make families say, I'm going to have the best time. I'm going to have the most relaxing time. My kids are going to have some place to stay. So we want to create an experience and Instagrammable moments, and it's here, it's been here, and it's getting even more competitive.
I completely agree, man. One thing that I want to say before we hop into these properties is interior design is still very important. The thing is, for a long time, hosts only focused on that. And now we're starting to see hosts that are focusing just as much on the exterior design as the interior design. And so when you marry exceptional interior design with exceptional exterior design, the numbers just, oh my gosh, they can get kind of crazy. We'll share some of those numbers today. The last one will blow your mind. I feel fairly confident about that. But one of the things I see is people will invest $100K in the interior, and they're like, I've got $10K left for like a ping pong table outside and a dining room table. That is not going to cut it. So let us walk you through sort of the difference of investments and some of the pitfalls and things that you need to watch out for. We're going to start with one of my properties, which it's not one that I would necessarily recommend, but it is a more budget-friendly property that we're going to show you today. So this is a $10,000 backyard. A little bit of context. This is what we call shining a turd and polishing a turd, because this house is it's old. It's a 100-year-old house. I came to you, Blue, and I was like, dude, help me reimagine this a little bit. And so we got really creative with this space. If you notice, this side yard is very long and very narrow. And the reason is that this was actually this gravel driveway next to the house. I brought this to you, and you're like, dude, I think you should enclose it and make it very amenity focused. And I was like, okay, so let's do that. And so $10,000 later, here we are. There's a couple of key components to this backyard and why it was $10,000. Okay. So component number one, DIY. I did this all by myself. I contracted the fence. That was about $2,000. I bought the hot tub and had friends help me move it. Hot tub was about $5,500. I spent about $2,000 on some landscaping. So you see the crushed gravel. I did the turf myself. This was super DIY. Do I think I could do this again for $10,000? The short answer is yes. The long answer is I do not recommend it. It's not something I would ever do again. I worked way too hard to do this. And from the beginning, Blue, I mean, you were like, dude, why don't you hire a contractor? And I was just pretty stubborn about that. So I should have listened to you, I guess, is the moral of the story.
Totally. Yeah. I think when you brought that to me, you said, yeah, I'm just gonna get my dad to come over and do the turf. I was like, why?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think all of us investors, we have a DIY personality sometimes, but you have the story of this property was sitting for what, how many months, and how much of the debt did you lose? So how much?
$2,000 a month for a year.
Totally. And then also the price to kind of get this thing up and running. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that at the very end, I think. But yeah, this was an interesting project, but I'm glad you got it done.
A little bit of context. I started off as a DIY guy. So I felt like I just had to do it because it was in my neighborhood, and I just wanted to prove to the world that I can still use my hands. And very quickly, you helped me realize post all this, hey, how much was your mortgage? I was like, oh, about $2,000 a month. And then you're like, okay, and then how much do you think you'll make on this property? And I was like, well, if I hit my numbers, $50,000, right? Then you're like, great. So that's $74,000 that you didn't make because you waited an entire year to launch it. And I was like, yes, I should have just paid the money out the gate. So moral of the story is that, yeah, I think DIYing serves its place when you're getting started, The scaling investor, though, I think knows better than me, and I shouldn't have done it, but I just have this thing where I feel like I have to be out, like from an authenticity standpoint, I feel like I have to do this stuff sometimes. I want to walk the walk and all that stuff. But I should have just spent the money. And a scaling investor knows, hey, I'm going to spend the money now. I'm going to make less money, but I'm going to get it done faster, and it's going to allow me to scale faster. And that was a big lesson for me. So $10,000 for a miniature backyard experience. This to me is bare minimum. Okay. Bare minimum of what you need in an Airbnb backyard. As you can see, it's not super crazy, but it is curated and it is a good use of the space. As far as the actual results of this property, let's talk about that, and then we'll head into our next case study. So results of this property are pretty interesting. I underwrote it at $40,000 to $45,000 a year. Well, you pushed me on the design, both interior and exterior, and year over year, or kind of at the end of the first year, I ended up grossing about $84,000. So I did just over double what I underwrote it for, and I made double what anyone else with this type of property, this condition, this location makes. So it worked, but the gray hairs you see on my head came as a result of trying so hard to make it work on a budget. Hey, by the way, if you liked this conversation, I've got good news for you. There's way more where that came from. If you want to watch the whole thing, click right here.